of the 80s. Yeah, more units of the Nintendo Entertainment System were shifted than any other entertainment device. It was huge. But absolutely, anxieties were there right from the very, very beginning. And in terms of my kind of history, grew up in the 80s, I went to university, and then straight after university, I landed what I absolutely thought was my dream job, which was to be the manager of a video game store. That's what I did. So I went for my interview, they went, yeah, you're going to get the manager's job. I was remembering my salary back then was 11,000 euros, and I couldn't believe how lucky I was. I just thought this was, I made it. 11,000 euros, terrible. So I got this, and I thought it was my dream job because video games were fun. Yeah, this was my thing. This is what I wanted to do. And then about a year later, something really interesting started happening around video games that changed my whole perception of that. Yeah, on the shop floor, parents were coming in and kind of demanding refunds because the content was inappropriate, and they were really kind of annoyed that we'd sold whatever it was, Mortal Kombat to little Johnny, and they come storming in, and say, how could we be so irresponsible, and we'd be having to issue refunds to them. You were getting self-appointed, and it's always self-appointed with these things, self-appointed so-called experts kind of voicing concerns around keyboard junkies and addiction, that kids were no longer interested in kind of worthwhile activities. Equally, self-appointed, again, frequently from church groups. And we still get this now. You look at the kind of controversy over, any Grand Theft Auto game. But so-called experts talking about the way in which video games incited violence in children. And demands there were groups kind of lobbying in Britain for tighter control about what could and couldn't be shown in video games. So I left the industry. It was all getting a little bit kind of not fun anymore. I'd done a year there going, this is great, everyone's going to be happy, it's video games. And a year later I went, well, it's not quite what I expected. So I went back to university, because that's a good thing to do. And then I got my first teaching job at Nottingham Trent University. I was asked to write a lecture on video games. And I've been doing a little bit of research, and I found a newspaper article on Mortal Kombat. I don't know if so I remember the first Mortal Kombat video arcade games. Yeah, I mean this was do you know the kind of more contemporary Mortal Kombats? Okay, so these are games, two opponents, martial arts based, but the kind of the fun part of Mortal Kombat was not to defeat your opponent, but when you did, they were stunned for about 3 seconds, and you could do a certain combination of button presses and moves. Yeah, and you perform a finishing move, and the finishing move would always be kind of ultra-violent, so you could pull their spine out, you could behead them, you could chop them into little bits, all of this. And I got this article, newspaper article, that did something really interesting. Okay, really interesting. It formed the kind of basis of a chapter I wrote on this. In that ultra-violence was being brought to the attention of the public and used as an excuse, not for the software, but for the technology. So the way this was written was the video games cabinet, the circuit boards within it were somehow inherently evil or dangerous. The circuit board's just a circuit board, it was pre-programmed. But the kind of rhetoric of it, the writing, was very much kind of based on this notion that the technology needed to be condemned. We didn't need to get rid of Mortal Kombat, we needed to get rid of these evil machines because of the effect they were going to have on kids. And it started to kind of gather pace, I mean, the original story, so I started building a filing cabinet for these, I still have it somewhere, these kind of cuttings. And more the kind of tabloid press were turning against the technology, in the beginning, it was all about the kind of unquestionable logic of social learning theory, unquestionable in inverted commas, that if kids play a violent video game, they go out and they commit violence, which we actually know is rubbish. And children can actually differentiate really easily between fantasy and reality, which is why after watching Tom and Jerry, they don't get a pair of shears and try and cut their sibling's head off, by and large. But then the kind of, as things moved on, the tactics in the press, and it was largely the tabloid press that did this, changed. Yeah? So stories started to come out about how adolescents were being forced into a life of crime to pay the high cost of video games. When I was a boy, you get a video game on a cassette for £5, €5. But with the advent of particularly things like the PlayStation, they cost so much more. So stories started coming out about how technology was a silent crime, that video game parlours were grooming grounds for paedophiles and drug dealers, and pornography as well. There's some great stories about really misguided raids on British schools, so lots of stories circulated about pornography circulating on floppy disks, that children were kind of exchanging these in the playground. There's one great example where the police raided a school, literally traumatized 100 7-year-olds, rounded them up, went through their bags, confiscated all the floppy disks, wrote to their parents, kids sobbing, all of this, sat down, went through all of the kind of data that had been taken, and there was absolutely nothing there. It was just a kind of Chinese whisper. This was going on. But the press loved it. The notion of technology is dangerous, technology is deviant, was there. And physical side effects as well. PlayStation Thumb. Does anyone remember the kind of controversy about PlayStation Thumb? Did you have that in Malta? It was largely the Sun, which is our kind of lowest of the low tabloid paper. When all else failed, when they run out of stories about pornography and all of that, it was physical side effects. PlayStation Thumb was wrecking the thumbs of children across the nation. We were literally going to have a whole generation who couldn't use thumbs in 10 years. And then what would we do? Society would grind to a halt. And epilepsy as well. And interestingly, still every single video game you're playing will start with an epilepsy warning. There was a case of a child who allegedly choked to death as a result of it. And again, they were playing a video game, had an epileptic fit, choked to death. And again, the press were on it. Technology is evil. Technology is dangerous, both physically and mentally. And just to give you a feel, because this was one of the kind of iconic games of its era, and it's terrible footage, I warn you. But this was around the release of the game Night Trap, which I don't know if people remember. Mm-hmm. But have a look at the kind of discussions going on here.
Violence in those video games.